The journey to success is often portrayed as climbing a mountain. We imagine ourselves scaling peaks of achievement, overcoming obstacles, and finally standing triumphant at the summit. But what if the mountain we need to climb isn't outside of us but within? There's a story about a man who lived near a mountain. Every day he would gaze at it, wondering what it would be like to climb to its peak and what he might see from the top. Finally, he decided to make the journey. At the mountain's base, he met a traveler returning from the summit. Eagerly, he asked about the path and the view from above. The traveler shared his experience, but the man found the described route too challenging. So he continued along the base until he met another traveler, asking the same questions. After speaking with 30 travelers and hearing their stories, the man concluded, "Now that so many people have shared their paths and what they saw from the top, I don't need to climb there anymore." Sadly, this man never experienced the journey himself. This parable reveals a profound truth. There is information that can be shared with words, but the experience of clarity, standing on that peak yourself, cannot be transferred through language alone. No motivational speech, no matter how inspiring, can substitute for the personal journey of transformation. This is why, despite countless motivational videos online with excellent content and perspective, so few viewers actually change their lives after watching. The missing element isn't knowledge, it's practice. As the Shaolin tradition emphasizes, theory without practice is merely book knowledge. It's something you think about while lying on the couch saying, "Ah, I know it." But knowing and embodying are worlds apart. True fulfillment, the kind that remains unshakable regardless of external circumstances, comes not from achievements or possessions, but from inner contentment. External success is temporary and conditional, while inner peace is constant and self-sustaining. This isn't to dismiss the value of achievement, but rather to recognize that genuine success flows from within outward, not from outside inward. In many educational systems, we learn about countless subjects: how plants function, what atoms are made of, how political systems operate, yet something crucial is missing: learning about ourselves. The monastic practices of traditions like Shaolin address this gap, focusing on self-exploration and discovery through mental training, behavioral development, and physical discipline, all aspects of what's now known as Shaolin Kung Fu. When we own our lives fully, we stop outsourcing responsibility. We cease looking to others to give us what we need or to blame when things go wrong. Instead, we recognize that our attitude shapes our reality. If you wake up and everything seems bad, your colleagues, traffic, your work, it's not that the world is bad. It's that your perception is colored by negativity. To achieve unshakable success, we must create alignment between our heart, mind, speech, and actions. When these elements work in harmony, we establish a seamless flow of energy that attracts clarity and opportunity. This alignment isn't just spiritual philosophy, it's practical psychology. As Shi Heng teaches, everything starts with yourself. What you want to see in the world, what you want to bring into the world, whatever you think is missing, you must first embody it. You can only care for someone if you know how care feels. You can only love someone if you know how love feels. If you don't have love inside of you, how can you give it? If you don't have thankfulness within yourself, how can you express it? This principle applies to all qualities we wish to manifest: clarity, confidence, compassion, resilience. We must cultivate these internally before we can express them externally. The journey of success isn't about acquiring more, but becoming more, developing the internal qualities that naturally lead to external results. The alignment process begins with acceptance of your current position. Acknowledging mistakes and limitations establishes a reliable starting point from which clear goals and incremental steps can be defined. Without this honest assessment, you build on shaky ground. True alignment requires awareness, the ability to observe your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors without immediate reaction or judgment. This awareness creates space between stimulus and response, allowing you to choose rather than merely react. In this space lies the freedom to redirect your course and maintain alignment with your deepest values. The Shaolin tradition offers a unique perspective on the relationship between physical and mental training. Rather than seeing physical practices as merely building stronger bodies, they understand how bodily discipline develops mental strength. When you encounter physical challenges, you're faced with a fundamental choice. When suffering comes, do you run away or do you face it? The Shaolin way represents the second approach, overcoming suffering rather than avoiding it. You go through it until you become so strong that it doesn't control you anymore. You may still feel the difficulty, but your relationship to it transforms. This approach applies not just to martial arts, but to all of life's challenges. By strengthening your capacity to face discomfort in controlled environments, you build resilience for unexpected hardships. The discipline of physical training cultivates the mental awareness needed to navigate life's complexities. In our modern society, many have become disconnected from physical exertion. Shi Heng reflects on whether people in the Stone Ages or Spartans suffered from depression, suggesting that these groups were too busy with their body, too busy with activity to be depressed. While this is a simplification, there's truth in recognizing how physical engagement affects mental health. Today, we can sit from morning until evening in front of screens with minimal physical movement. This physical disconnection contributes to mental fog and indecision. When the body and mind work in harmony through regular physical practice, clarity emerges naturally. The heightened awareness developed through physical discipline allows you to notice when your mind is clouded and take steps to clear it. In pursuing unshakable success, you must learn to recognize and remove what the Shaolin tradition calls the 5 hindrances, mental states that prevent clear seeing and decisive action. These hindrances are sensual desire, ill will, sloth, and torpor, restlessness, and skeptical doubt. In these mental states, it becomes very difficult to see clearly and therefore engage in the right decisions. Let's explore each hindrance and its impact on your success. Sensual desire arises when you pay attention to something giving you positive emotions through your 5 senses: seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, or feeling. When climbing your mountain of success, you might discover a beautiful restaurant surrounded by pleasant people with delicious food and beverages. If you follow this temptation, you've already lost your track. When this temptation becomes overwhelming, sensual desire turns into obsession. Ill will describes a mental state arising from negative emotions, aversion, rejection, or dislike toward an object, situation, or person. It's like climbing a mountain when it starts to rain, but you dislike rain. The path becomes bumpy, but you dislike bumpy roads. You need to swim across a river, but you dislike swimming. Whatever you dislike makes the journey unpleasant unless you learn to let go of this ill will. Sloth and torpor refer to heaviness of the body and dullness of the mind. This hindrance manifests as sleepiness, lack of motivation or energy, and sometimes depression. It's like being imprisoned in a cell, making any mental or physical effort extremely difficult. Restlessness is an unsettled mind that cannot remain in the present moment. Instead, it worries about the future or travels into the past, judging events that have already happened. Like a monkey jumping from branch to branch, the restless mind never stays long enough in the present to see clearly. Skeptical doubt relates to indecisiveness and getting lost in thoughts. Can I do this? Is this the right path? What will others say? What if this or that happens? In this state, your mind cannot synchronize with your actions, disconnecting you from your goals and aspirations. When your path is filled with too much doubt, you often stop instead of moving forward. To overcome these hindrances, Shi Heng offers a 4-step method. First, recognize what state of mind you're in. Second, accept, acknowledge, and allow the situation or person to be as they are. Third, investigate your emotional and mental state, asking why it arose and what consequences will follow if you remain in that state. Finally, practice non-identification, understanding that you are not your body, mind, or emotions, but the awareness that can observe all 3 aspects. True success isn't a solo endeavor, but a shared journey. When we recognize our interconnectedness, compassion naturally arises. This compassion isn't just for others, it extends to yourself as well, allowing you to address weaknesses without harsh judgment. Care is a fundamental starting point. Care for your family, care for those precious to you, care for your surrounding environment. But most importantly, care for yourself. This isn't selfish, it's necessary. You cannot give what you don't possess. The most sustainable success comes when your achievements lift others while fulfilling your potential. This creates a positive cycle where your growth contributes to the common good, which in turn supports your continued development. Success becomes not a finite resource to hoard, but an abundant energy that multiplies through sharing. Consider the journey of a startup founder named Maya. Despite her brilliant ideas and technical expertise, she struggled with indecision. Every choice became an agonizing process of second-guessing. Investor meetings would go well, but she couldn't commit to a direction. Team members grew frustrated with the constant pivots, and her vision remained unrealized. At her breaking point, Maya attended a secluded Shaolin retreat. Initially, she saw it as a wellness break, a chance to recharge before returning to her startup challenges. The first morning began at 5 a.m. with meditation, followed by intense physical training. The Shaolin master noticed Maya's hesitation during exercises and said, "Your body hesitates because your mind does. When you strike, strike completely." Days of physical training revealed the hindrances in her mind. During a balance exercise, sensual desire emerged as she yearned for the comfort of her bed. During strength training, ill will appeared as resentment toward the difficulty. Morning meditation exposed her sloth. Afternoon strategic discussions uncovered her restlessness, and evening reflection confronted her with skeptical doubt. The master taught her to recognize these states, accept their presence without judgment, investigate their causes, and realize that she was not defined by these temporary conditions. Gradually, Maya's body grew stronger and her mind clearer. On the final day, participants were asked to break a wooden board with their bare hand. Maya approached the board, focused her mind, aligned her body, and struck with complete commitment. The board broke cleanly in two. Success is not in breaking the board, the master told her. It is in the willingness to strike without doubt. Maya returned to her company transformed. She revised her business plan, made clear decisions about product direction, and communicated with newfound conviction. Investors responded to her certainty. The team rallied around her vision, and within a year, her company launched its first successful product. The physical training hadn't just strengthened her body, it had revealed and removed the mental hindrances blocking her success. By facing each hindrance through practice rather than theory, she developed unshakable confidence that no external circumstance could diminish. Unshakable success comes from inner alignment and the removal of doubt. When you align your heart, mind, speech, and actions, you create a powerful congruence that naturally attracts opportunities. By recognizing and removing the 5 hindrances, you clear your mind for decisive action. All of our lives are too unique to copy someone else's path. To bring meaning and value to your life, you must learn to master yourself and not let hindrances stop you. Remember that knowledge without practice remains theoretical. Physical training serves as a tangible way to develop mental awareness and strength. The challenges your body faces reveal your mind's capacity to observe, endure, and transcend limitations. Begin with acceptance of your current position. Care deeply for yourself and others. Recognize the interconnectedness of all achievements. And most importantly, embark on your own journey up the mountain. For no one else can climb it for you, and no description can substitute for the clarity you'll find at the summit. See you next time. Keep your eyes open, your mind curious, and your spirit evolving.